My name is E.W. Wainwright. I'm a performing arts consultant, also a jazz musician. Had a great career, I would say, over 50 years, certainly, playing drums, starting with commercial music and popular music, and then going into blues, and then eventually into jazz, which is my love, playing jazz. The kids call me Baba Wayne. I teach them that you should call an adult by a title.
He said, now you can call me Mr. Wainwright, or you can call me Baba Wayne.
And Baba in many, many cultures means father or older person in the community, someone who teaches and sort of nurtures the youth.
And when that 15-minute audition was over, those kids were screaming, Baba Wayne, Baba Wayne, Baba Wayne.
Baba Wayne, Baba Wayne, Baba Wayne, we love you. Baba Wayne, we love you.
Baba Wayne.
I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing at this point in my life. I'm currently working at Learning Without Limits School. I'm there very early in the morning because that's just who I am. I like to be on top of everything I do. You know, I kind of prepare everything, get the machines going, make sure all the copy machines are full of paper, get the coffee made, make sure all the lights are on. As a performing arts consultant, I try to use performing arts to enhance the academic aspects in public education. Every morning, I have certain students that come at about 7:30. I have a performing arts group of drummers who have learned body rhythms and drummings. Allende. Slick one. The underlying purpose is to teach kids to learn to take responsibility. It's part of its leadership training, to understand that you gain a certain respect by trying your best and doing your best and getting that respect from your peers. We have morning meeting every day, and on Fridays the drummers play. Kids really love performing on Friday. I mean, you get a chance to perform before all your peers and your parents, and it's an enriching experience for them. In addition to the work I do with youth, we're a performing arts academy, which has an adult component also. And these are professional musicians who are extremely accomplished musicians, who in their own right serve the community. They're either playing in churches, or they're playing for benefits, or they're playing somewhere to benefit society. Along with working in the public school system, I'm allowed to go and do a major concert. I've done a Carnegie Hall concert. And before that, I went to Paris on 2 occasions for the World Peace Conference, and I was able to perform at those opportunities. Yeah, that one's fine. It's the other one. That one's flat. I have a Saturday school called the African Roots of Jazz Youth Drummers. We have a lot of kids who are coming from the neighborhood, and my purpose there was to give them something to do, something creative to do on Saturday. We work on beats and rhythm and just, you know, and they're all levels. We have beginners and intermediate, and we have advanced students who come in. And then we have a mentorship. We have the advanced students will come in and aid the beginners and show them something or show them how to do something. In the past few weeks, we've had a 2-year-old to come in and join my 4-year-old. And so I teach both of them, you know, well, it's more an experience for them than it is teaching. This is where it all started. I wasn't much bigger than a mailbox myself, and I would play the mailbox like a drum, like. Was standing on the corner, not
not doing any harm.
Listening to basic sounds and playing. That's been an interesting experience for me because I've never tried to teach any youngster 2 years old, or 4 for that matter.
Well, that's the way they treat you in the Baltimore City Jail. Woo! From the mailbox to Carnegie Hall. The first time I actually saw the drums, I think it was junior high school, there was a band. I had all this natural rhythm inside. I didn't even realize it. The next time I came in contact with drums was a set of drums in the United States Air Force in a service club in Chambéry, France. And they taught me how to play drums. I didn't know how to hold the sticks. I didn't know how to keep a beat. I didn't know how, the whole set worked and everything, but I learned very quickly. That launched a career and a realization that, that I had a gift. I came back to the United States. This was around 1959 or 60. I didn't have any drums, but every time I saw a pair of drums somewhere in a nightclub or a friend or something, I gravitated toward them and I played them. Oh, Slick One. Okay, Slick One is a double hit. And Congolese is, so don't mix them up.
We practice drum beats and body rhythms and whatever performance we're going to do on the coming Friday.
I'm young and happy and very proud, so join us and sing it loud. I wake up every morning to come to school each day, because learning without limit is still the only way.
I monitor the playground activities every day. And so I use, for instance, kickball. I use that to teach sportsmanship, teach kids how to get along together, how to resolve conflicts that come up, how to respect each other, but no put downs, that kind of thing. It takes me into stories of life. There are instances that happen in life where people get an unclear understanding of something and decide to become extremely angry to the extent that they want to indulge in hate. And, I teach kids that this is something that they never want to do. You never want to indulge yourself with hate, and you never want to respond to it or answer it or become any part of that particular energy. What you want to do is get as far away from that as you possibly can. Working with youth, I have an opportunity to talk about some of my experiences of the 60s when I was in the South, when we were fighting for justice and equality. I went to Alabama and I worked to earn money to buy my first set of drums. I stayed in Tuscumbia, Alabama and Sheffield. A small group formed. Our band was integrated, so along with everything else that was going on at the time in the South, we had the only integrated band that I knew of that was going into these small towns in Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee. And we got run out of a lot of towns, but the music was really great. I mean, they would listen to the music and dance and have a good time, and then when the dance was over, they would run us out of town. Jeers and stones thrown at you, and so we went through that kind of thing. I wanted to be a part of the revolution. I wanted to join up with Dr. Martin Luther King, but I was more attracted to Stokely Carmichael. We got to Atlanta and we hooked up with SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
And we lived with them. We lived in the apartment complex with them in Atlanta and would play on the weekends. And then, of course, during the week, we were involved in different things, mostly voter registration, fighting for equal rights. Segregation was still really alive and well. There was a lot of brutality happening. We would get picked up by the police quite often and just taken to the local jails and beaten.
I go through that history. With younger kids, not too much detail. With adults, I go into more detail about the tragedies.
Oh, I had a very tragic experience in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I had a toothache. I actually had an abscess tooth. There's this ad on the radio, you know, come to Dr. John's dentist, no appointment necessary, just come on in and, you know, we'll take care of you. So even though we were aware of the segregation and racism at the time, my tooth was really hurting. So anyway, they dropped me off at this dentist. It's a white dentist. And I go in and I'm in pain. The two dentists were very cruel and very mean and instilled a lot of pain in holding me down and making sure that I experienced a lot of pain. They hurt me severely. I blanked out several times, came back in and out, and what I can remember is that it was tantamount to torture. They took the tooth out, but they sewed the abscess up in my head, which infected my sinuses and went all the way up. I later found out that the dentist was the nephew of the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. And we never should have gone there, but of course we didn't know. They left me in the street. I lived in pain for about 4 years. This resulted in a surgery. They had to like open up the head here and drill through and take out the poison that had come from the tooth and take out all the sinuses. It was probably one of the worst experiences of my life. My personal experience in the dental chair, all of these things have really served to bring me closer to a consciousness to want to change things.
My title is Positive School Climate Coach. And by climate, we mean the whole working of the school, everything contained within what happens on a daily basis. That's the climate. I'm the climate coach. Another part of my responsibilities is behavior modification, where I'm dealing with referrals. And these are, this is a form that comes from the teacher when a child has had some challenges in class and has disrupted the class in one way or another. And so we take that student out and talk to him or her.
You rolled your eyes at Miss Chase and Miss Alamine, and it was during workstation or work time. Then refusing to follow directions.
And working together with the families, we help to nurture, love, and teach that student to be a kind, gentle, respectful student.
It sounds to me like you're willing to apologize and kind of resolve this whole thing. Is that true? Okay, so I'll see you at 2-3 recess. Shake my hand. We agree? Everything's gonna be okay? All right, come on. We always had an activist consciousness about, equal rights for musicians, for all people. But, we were like really trying to survive at that point. We began to get little gigs here and there. In 1968, I went overseas with Bob Hope as part of his Far East tour. I just played in Hollywood, doing some sessions and playing different kinds of music. I went to New York and because I really wanted to be near Elvin Jones, the great drummer who was with John Coltrane. I really wanted to be near him and with him, and he was my inspiration and the reason that I am the drummer that I am today. We were on the same world tour. We toured Europe and we came back to America, and I played at Carnegie Hall with McCoy Tyner and Rahsaan Roland Kirk. I was with Mark Allman for a while. We did that promotional tour for New York State of Mind.
We do a set program called The Social Evolution of Jazz. We trace that music from its earliest beginnings, and we tell a story.
And this whole performance speaks to victory. It speaks to a people overcoming different incidents that happened in the social evolution of African American people, but African American history is everybody's history, so it impacts everything that happens.
All the way through spiritual blues, gospel, ragtime, bebop, the revolutionary music of the 60s.
There were songs that came out of that because when it came to this country, they transformed their music and their art forms and their culture and everything into the American culture. And so they were introduced to religion, another religion, different from their religion. And it's an old spiritual called Fix Me, Jesus, Fix Me.
Fix me, Jesus, fix me. Oh, fix me. Oh.
It was primarily for children to learn something about their history and their heritage.
And the sound of the time was, it don't mean a thing. Got that right, if it ain't got that swing. And then we're going to go into the turbulent 60s, how the music has always been a healing enmity that has brought people together.
We are all connected, so we must treat each other right. Let me hear you. We are all connected, so we must treat each other right. We are all connected, so we must.
And then I formed the African Roots of Jazz. And this was a result of traveling around and talking to young people and understanding that they didn't know where this music jazz came from. They didn't know about all the famous artists and institutions who created this music. And so I said, we're going to form a group and we're going to tell that story. When you deprive a culture of its history and its heritage and try to just put it into a big melting pot and stir it around and say, you know, this is who we want you to be, you're taking away a very valuable identity and a very valuable contribution to that society. And so that's what we began to do, to tell that story in our music as a narrative and with dance and poetry and any way we can. We're going to tell that story so that youngsters have some idea of where all of this came from. We started in Southern California in a program called Intercultural Awareness, but then that program was taken out of the school system, so we moved to Baltimore and we continued our work there for a year, and then we came back to Northern California where we have been since then, working in the schools, working in community centers, churches, everywhere that our service is needed, bringing that education and bringing that information, and in many cases building self-esteem with young people who understand that I can play this music and now I know where it came from, and it builds a sense of pride.
Okay, it's time to start the class. Dress left, right, 3 lines.
1, 2, 3.
And we're talking about African American, we're talking about Latino, we're talking about children of color who come into a society, into a country, America, and the whole education system is based on white supremacy, the whole education system. Our work in going in and talking about all the great things that our people contributed to America to help build this great country, it gives children of color a sense of belonging. You have all these different personalities and characters and ethnic groups. You know, I have Latino and white and Asian. I have every mixture that is within the school, you know, working together. It just makes me so happy.
Get ready. Can dance. I am really proud of you. I want you to know that.
Ma'at, M-A-A-T, is the name of the first 7 principles that civilization was founded upon. It goes back 5,000 years. It's an excellent learning tool. And so we put it into the form of a mantra.
Ma'at affirmation, go.
Every day and everywhere, I'm getting better and better. I'm a musical note in the key of beauty.
Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. I'm a musical note in the key of beauty. When I join us, we create truth, justice, balance, harmony.
Compassion, order, and reciprocity. Because mine is my responsibility. So let each one teach one, let each one reach one. Positive energy, up, positive energy, up.
You guys only fourth grade, right?
So everybody got a partner?
One of the things about performing arts, it has an end result. It's something you contribute to, it's something that you train for, you learn, you train, you practice, and then there is an end result.
First off on the program is our Saturday school. The African Roots of Jazz Youth Drummers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Glenview and Whittier Spirit Team. Forward, whoa! And goal-oriented activities make people feel really good about themselves.
Every day and everywhere, I'm getting better and better. I'm a musical note in the key of beauty. So let each one teach one, let each one reach one. Positive energy, positive energy.
So, you know, I kind of prepare everything and just generally looking around, making sure everything is ready for my teachers to come in and teach and my staff to do whatever they do.
Well, I don't know if you know, but today is a very special day because it is Baba Wayne's birthday. Can you join me, please, in singing happy birthday to Baba Wayne? Ready? It's hard to put into words all that you do here. The title is Positive Climate Coach, and positive climate exudes from your body and from your being and from your words. You lift us all up with your smile.
My teachers, you notice I use the word my because I've kind of possessed them, you know. I mean, this is my school and my school family. Good morning, families. Just one quick announcement. If you have food for the kindergarten graduation, it goes on the table to my right over there.
Baba Wayne the tremendous E.W. Wainwright. E.W. Wainwright is the founder and creative director of the African Roots of Jazz Performing Arts Academy in West Oakland. Dr. Williams, thank you for recognizing.
I see that the work I do is meaningful, and it needs to continue on whatever level, however small or however large, we can do that to keep it going.
Oh, two other students of mine walked in the door years ago. Amie Fields and Sophia Jackson are now in college. Come up here. Now see, this really makes me proud. They were leaders on the spirit team. One was a colonel and the other one was a lieutenant colonel. I'm serious. I mean, and they had moves. They played the drums. I mean, they got dance. They can rap. They can do. Y'all want to do something? Y'all want to do something? Y'all do a rap? Don't let nobody break your spirit. Oh yeah, and don't let nobody break your spirit. Oh yeah, oh, what you say?
There's a festival that occurs at the end of the school year.
All right. Cast your eyes on center stage. The cakewalk is about to begin in about 15 minutes.
We go out into the schoolyard and we invite all the parents to prepare some kind of a dish to be shared by all the other families.
Everything looks so good.
And we have games, we have sports, and the drummers play. And last year, the principal put himself in a dunking tank.
All right, cakewalk, go. Counterclockwise, keep going until the music stops.
It's something we all look forward to. That was a highlight of the end of the year festival.
And they're walking around the circle. All proceeds go to help our youth learn and empower themselves.
It is my deepest desire to be an instrument of the Most High Spirit of love. And so when I play the drums, I don't want to be a drummer. I want to be an instrument of the music. And the drums is just something that facilitates that. It's like I say, my gift is a talent from God, and what I do with it is my gift to God. God meaning love.
Let me say peace and blessings to all your beautiful spirits. Thank you.
Many times I say, peace and love are ways that I say goodbye or so long, or I wish you peace and love.
And above all, know that we are all connected.
And peace and blessings to your beautiful spirit.